If these phenomena weren't recorded, no one would believe it. Hello lovely YouTube family, welcome back to Reality Binge. In today's video we're going to talk about if these phenomena weren't recorded, no one would believe them. Before we start, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our videos. Take a look at the hair on that person. This isn't one of the Christmas decorations from those next door neighbors. Are you concerned about a frozen car door? The door to these people's homes have frozen shut, making it impossible for them to enter. No one in the world can do anything about such natural occurrences but cope with the repercussions with a shovel. It'll bring you good fortune in the year 2021. We despise it when our automobile door becomes stuck. Consider the potential that the entire automobile will freeze in a single night as freezing rain transforms these vehicles into ice blocks. I'm seeing the owner close the glass, yet the ice crust on the window is still 12 millimeters thick. He wouldn't be able to leave even if he got inside the car. Wheels were frozen in the parking lot. Take a look at what happens to vehicle tires in Kakistan. The rubber just crumbles. It's understandable given the sudden decrease in temperatures to negative 50 degrees Celsius, which froze my hair, because these birds were unable to take flight due to a storm. They met the same fate on the ground. Here's what happens when you pour boiling water out on the frigid temps, or you might end up with no cup at all. After a big snowfall, this Yaktuya family was unable to leave their home since the snow had completely covered the entryway. The man will now have to spend a magnificent amount of time building a tunnel. Is this a valid reason for the Yakuza to be late for work? But if you can still get out in the snow, what happens if your house is engulfed in an icy tsunami? When a storm wind blows across the bodies of water during a thaw, this happens. They transport ice pieces all the way to the beach. Where they transform is a genuine tsunami. The ice continues to travel across the ground and may eventually reach and destroy the dwellings. In the aftermath, there's a lot of leftover ice, and people's backyards resemble the Ice Age.
Now imagine the shock of people who were at the beach at that moment and didn't expect the weather to go bad. You must be asking, what about the storm warning? Well, it probably just wasn't there.
What's significant is that he didn't bury his acorns there. Remember how Kevin McAllister made his own ice trap at home? That's exactly what happened in New York with these structures. It became coated in ice only one night after being blasted by powerful waves and temperatures below freezing, and now seems to be backdrops for the film the day after tomorrow. Because the ice covering is more than 10 centimeters thick, a hammer will be useless in this type of storm. Consider what will happen if the ice melts as the weather warms. Strong ocean gusts may create a massive foam party. Look at this unusually large volume of sea foam that blanketed the city in a 3-meter coating of water. The frothy tsunami amused beachgoers, as did this man, who took up extreme diving off the city embankment.
Elbrus region for some reason. Actually, it's not that the mountains need an excuse to do something like this. One of the avalanches went straight to the car park. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the incident was taped. And if you think for some reason that the pile of snow that's sliding down the mountain is okay, then look, it easily moves the cars and pushes them up against each other.
Do not attempt this in a jacuzzi at home. Consider the wind frightening away 15 million tons of sand and dust at the speed of 180 kilometers per hour instead of foam. From above, it appears a little town to be surrounded by cliffs, but the residents should return home as soon as possible, because a mile ice sandstorm will totally engulf the city in a matter of minutes. You can get right into the middle of a sandstorm and feel what it's like thanks to the driver. And don't try to hide from a sandstorm in the water, because that's where the water spouts form. These 2-kilometer high funnels seem stationary from afar, but they're actually spinning at 250 kilometers an hour and rising high into the sky. It's uncommon to witness many water spouts so close together, but you're in luck, because you can see 6 of them at once in this clip, yet it isn't enough to frighten the Russian tourist away.
See that? The sand blows away, look. See the streets? It has a small hurricanes of sand. Wow.
لا إله إلا الله. الظاهر إنها عند الضواحي. وهذيك يمكن 2 كيلو بالضبط.
They hadn't gotten off the beach. They're just waiting for the tornado to pass so they can get back into the water. Take a look at how bored these individuals are with the tornado. Only in Russia, but the people of this Malaysian city were extremely fortunate, as a tornado the size of the tower abruptly altered its intentions to visit the city. And here's what it looked like from the hotel room window. Just a few meters away from a structure. If you want to experience the force of a tornado firsthand, please come visit Mount Washington, the world's windiest peak.
They were having lunch. No, I'm not kidding. There's a teeny tiny one. Oh, cool. Are you getting all this?
Yep.
Look at that. It's going to be gone. That is so cool. Oh, look at that teeny. See, that's the little tiny one came in.
This man was attempting to endure a 180 km per hour wind. It's almost as if you're in a wind tunnel and your wet clothes freeze to ice in 20 seconds since the temperature feels like negative 75 degrees Celsius. Take a look at what occurs when the water boils in the weather. It simply stops working. No one will be shocked by ice on Mount Washington, but what about ice on the beach in the midst of summer? No, this isn't the dreaded ice bucket challenge. Because the city was unexpectedly struck by a hailstorm, these holiday makers had to physically flee and hide under umbrellas. The sea vanished into the forest into a matter of minutes, and the wind began breaking tree limbs. Before Christmas, the beach resembled the grass, but nature is capable of much more surprising things. Mount St. Helens began erupting in 1980, and then it occurred in a matter of seconds. A 1.6 kilometer high piece of the enormous mountain shattered and plummeted like an avalanche. This is how St. Helena presently looks. Do you hear how terrifying it is to live near a volcano now? Things like these are seen in inhabitants of Indonesia, which have over 100 active volcanoes. Every 2 years, the Cinnabon volcano erupts, spewing a 5-kilometer plume of ash at a speed of 700 kilometers per hour. This heavy fog makes it appear as though the apocalypse has come, and the Indonesians were shocked by a pink haze from the volcano Merapi in 2020. It happened around sunset, and the unusual hue of the smoke was due to the light, but considering the environment in 2020, it may have been real. It's fortunate that these volcanoes can be seen from afar so you can keep away from them, but underwater volcanoes are scary. You're cruising along when an explosion strikes. The passengers on this boat are fortunate to have selected the proper path. You're watching an underwater volcano deep into the new island right before your eyes since the lava immediately solidifies in the water. Simple clouds may also be frightening. This isn't going to be another sandstorm. Over Lake Michigan, there's an odd cloud. It appears to be a soaring mountain approaching you, and the cloud appears to be a replica of the Stephen King's Mist from the Sea. I hope it doesn't have any large insects, but a cloud is still a cloud, and unlike an encounter, it may really damage you.
The plume of steam and ash rises miles into the sky for the rest of the day. The drifting ash cloud disrupts air traffic for hundreds of miles.
When two flames merge into one, the air warms up quickly and rises, producing a fire tornado. The funnel's temperature may reach 800 degrees Celsius, and it can reach a height of 5 kilometers in the air. In 1923, Japan had the world's biggest tornado. It was 183 meters tall, about 305 meters in diameter, and spun at a speed of 200 kilometers per hour. Even if such a terrifying occurrence can be explained by science, the mass beaching of whales remains a mystery. More than 400 whales have been stranded on the New Zealand coast, according to his video. People are attempting to save the creatures, but there's only been able to return 100 of them to the water. And this is just another example of unusual mass animal behavior. Thousands of birds do aerobatics in this video. At a speed of 40 kilometers per hour, different flocks practically crash into one another and move like a single entity. At the very least, they are able to wait out the earthquake. But there will be nowhere to hide if the earth begins to quiver beneath their feet. Because hiding in the buildings is futile, these Nepalese people just rush into the center of the road. Look at how these multi-ton towers are trembling. Even the asphalt can't hold up the vibrations. Deep fissures emerge, large enough to swallow a human leg or perhaps a vehicle wheel, but you'll have to travel to Africa to see a genuinely massive fracture. This fault stretches over 56 kilometers and is a few tens of meters broad. It emerged out of nowhere and has been growing in size ever since. From the interior, the crack appears to be so large that a 5-story structure may fit fully within it. According to experts, this fracture will split Africa into 2 continents millions of years from now. For the time being, it should be enough. Still getting chills from the sandstorm ride you mentioned. The majority of people leave comments and don't forget to like the video. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any amazing video from us.